In this clip, I will show you different ways that you can view your photos in the library module. We've already been talking about folders and collections, and one of the things that I normally do is actually once I get in the hang of importing photos into my Lightroom catalog, I have a very little care about where they actually are stored. I assume that Lightroom is storing them where I want them, and so I generally close the folders panel just to give me more space to work with, and then I focus on collections and the search capability of the library module. What we're going to talk about now is just different ways you can view the photos. We've been looking at this thumbnail or grid view, which is shown by this icon down here in this toolbar. You can zoom in on any photo that you have selected just by clicking on this icon here. You can then use the navigator panel, which we haven't discussed before, to zoom in or zoom out on the photo, and you can see in the navigator it's showing you how much space you have that you can zoom in on, and you can zoom at different ratios to get really close, and you can now manipulate that area that you're looking at and get a very, very close view if you want to. You can then go back to the group view and again work with individual photos. You can select two photos and compare them. This example is not that good, but if I had two photos of the same person or place or object that are subtly different, this is a great way to look at them. You can also look at multiple photos. This might be a better example. I might take these stadium photos, which are very similar but slightly different, and use what's called the survey view. And using this view, I can eliminate photos just by clicking them off until I get down to the one that I actually want to use. Going back to the grid mode, another feature of Lightroom which you can use to help track your photos is facial recognition, and Lightroom is able to go in and identify faces, does a good job of identifying faces in photos, and then you can designate who that person is one time, and the next time a photo of Molly is imported into the catalog, the Lightroom will try to identify that new photo against faces that it already knows about. Another thing that you can see when you select photos is the histogram associated with that photo, and this should be the same histogram that you see on the back of your camera when you take the photo. In addition to the histogram are your settings, and this is, especially if you're working on your photography, this is good to be able to see this in this quick view. So here you see the ISO, the focal length, the aperture setting, and the shutter speed setting. There are other ways to see that information, but this is a good way to do that here. You can also see any keywords that are associated with any photo that you select, and you can also add. So in this example, I'm just going to add another keyword here to this particular photo, which again makes it more searchable later on. In the next clip, I'll talk to you about ways that you can classify your photos that make it easier to find them later on, and also help you kind of evaluate the photos that you're taking.